pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So you gotta pledge allegiance by yourself, right? Okay, I want to take attendance. Mike Barnes, present.
Dorothy present.
Gregory Simpson, president. Joe Latender, present.
Diana Klein here.
I make a motion to open public comment. Any discussion? We want to know that the public comment state your name and their address and so forth, and let us know what is going on. If you do any kind of subject, we'll let you want it if you feel necessary. We're gonna do that now. All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. We have a list.
That's the public hearing.
No, I'm right.
I have a couple of names for. I'm Lynn Bailey. I live at 46 Walton Lane.
Hold on a second, Lynn, hold on just one second. It's 22nd.
28.
28th.
I just want to mention in the public comment that I received some emails regarding the appointment of Wamsley Green to the planning board. I was told that other people have sent emails directly to different town board members. And all the mails that I received were in opposition to Wamsley Green for the planning board. And as a private citizen, I'd like to say that I concur, because I believe that he tends to, his prior public statements have all been in favor of development regardless of impact on community or in spite of impact on community and natural resources. Thank you. Nobody else has signed up on the list.
Does anybody here wish to speak in public comment that hasn't signed?
I haven't signed up. Is that for now or
You signed up for the public comment or the public hearing?
I guess the public hearing?
This is the Katie Breeze.
Yes.
Okay. Anybody else other than that? Justin? Justin Hopper?
Yes.
My name is Justin Hofer. I'm at 198 Heritage Drive with Arizona Hudson Valley.
Could you speak a little more loudly, please?
Yes.
What's your date?
It's the microphone. You just gotta come in tight.
Okay. Oh, there. I'm Justin Hofer. Yes.
And you're,
198 Heritage Drive,
thank you.
Arizona Hudson Valley. So, good evening, Supervisor Baums and members of the Town Hurley Board. Thank you for allowing me the opportunity to speak tonight. I'm here on behalf of Arizona Hudson Valley LLC, the owner of the site located at 198 Heritage Drive in Hurley, to address an issue regarding an invoice we received from the Planning Board's counsel, Grant and Lyons, related to the determination of road ownership at the corner of Heritage Drive and Walton Lane. Arizona Hudson Valley LLC is formally rejected, disputing this invoice and asking the town of Hurley to nullify this invoice. We have identified several serious concerns with the invoice and the process surrounding it. First, the incorrect recipient. The invoice was originally sent to Gabrielle Desantonio, the wife of one of Arizona's staff members at her personal home. She has no involvement with this project. The error is not only troubling, but could have caused significant prejudice to Arizona Hudson Valley, had we not eventually received this invoice on January 11th, 2025. To clarify, the original invoice was dated December 26th, 2024. Delayed billing. The invoice pertains to work allegedly completed in January 2024, yet we received it nearly 10 months later. This delay raises questions about the process and transparency of billing practices. Lack of transparency. Throughout this process, we did not receive monthly updates or escrow statements. These would have provided necessary oversight and clarity on the charges incurred. Unjustified charges. Despite Arizona Hudson Valley completing and submitting all necessary research and documentation directly to Grant Alliance, we were billed for 14.75 hours of research. This is despite our providing a $500 escrow for what should have been a simple confirmation, backed by the legal text we supplied. Unnecessary delays. Finally, despite multiple follow-ups, we waited over 6 months for a response from Grant Alliance, which has further delayed the resolution of this matter. These issues have created an unnecessary burden for our organization, and we believe it is critical to address them openly and fairly. It is not because we are developers that we should be taken advantage of. Every penny counts, and we have been more than fair with the town, and that turn has been mostly supportive of this project. For these reasons, we respectfully request that this matter be added to tonight's agenda for transparent discussion and resolution, or to the next town board or planning board meeting. For your review, we have already shared the communications and supporting documentation with the town, but we are happy to share them with the board as a whole via email. Please let me know if additional information is required to move this conversation forward. Thank you for your time and attention to this matter.
Justin, do us a favor, if you just email the entire board also, all the documentation, please.
I have a copy too.
Okay, thank you,
Thank you for your time.
thank you.
All right, anybody else wish to speak? I make a motion to close public comment number 1.
A second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, I make a motion under the Public Officers Law 105, medical financial credit subsection F, regarding a particular employee, the medical financial credit or employment history of a particular person, corporation, or matter, legal employment, promotion, demotion, discipline, suspension, dismissal, removal, as particular person. Motion.
And it's really inviting there.
And we'd like to invite Paul O'Connell's into our meeting.
Which of those, it has to do with, the employment and promotion, none of the other. Thank you.
Yes,
Yes,
I read the whole thing.
No, I got that.
This is stated.
It's not a first one.
Okay, I make a motion to go into executive session. Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
We'll be back. I'm out of executive session. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. So the next discussion here, it's the minutes. I just want to say something with the minutes and so forth. The minutes. Yeah,
They're posted.
yeah, they are posted, but they just got posted.
Yeah.
You know, so I don't know if you guys have read it, had a chance to read it. So I propose that we, defer it to the next meeting, but to you guys see.
That's a motion.
Second. Go ahead.
Would you like to approve the minutes for December?
Did we do that already?
I thought you did that last meeting.
We did that last meeting.
They weren't available until a couple of days after the last meeting.
Okay, I thought we did that already.
No,
Did you get an opportunity to review?
but I didn't review them.
All right, so we,
That's the.
You'll have to be-
we defer both of them.
Well, and
All right.
I have a couple of changes for minutes that were given to me by the planning.
No, wait.
Well, yeah, there was a mistake in,
No, these are the minutes for the town board. not the
I
planning
understand. It's in the organizational section.
There's correction, just get it to me.
Okay, there's the correction.
So I don't know if it'll be in it.
Well,
And
are there,
you resolved that Nelson Pope and Voorhees were appointed as town planners,
That's actually someone.
and named Bonnie Franson. You left out Megan Zapatis.
Zapatas?
So we want to add her name as it was to Bonnie Franson.
Well, no, we approved NPV. I mean, I know, but I'm just saying, we approved NPV, we found Franson, and, she is harder in that sense.
Yes, but you specified Bonnie and you left out this other person's name.
So, but that wasn't reflected in the actual meeting, so if you want to change the resolution to include another name, that can be something that can be done by another resolution, but it's not part of the minutes if it was not part of the discussion or what was approved at that point.
All right, I'm very,
Town clerk.
town clerk.
Well, there's a motion on the table to defer
The motion to defer both the December minutes and the January minutes till next meeting.
A second.
Any, discussion? Any opposed? All in favor? You guys got homework. Read the minutes.
Yep.
Okay, town clerk's report?
Okay, this is preliminary. First, the tax collector would like to report that we have collected $4,444,000 change in taxes from total to date. And that represents 1,792 payments that were reported by my office. Of those funds, 3,030,000 were transferred to the check was written to the supervisor's account so that it could earn some interest. And we have pending deposit about $229,000. Current balance in the bank is $1,185,000. For the period of January 1st to January 28th, the normal collections amounted to $49,073. I'll break it out in next month's full report. Total income for the town. I don't know. It's gotta be. Anyway, so I would like to say that people are working very hard in the office. I think they're doing a bang up job, considering that we have done all of those reports. And we've also received a few notes thanking us for our service, which was, lovely, including with their tax payments. And we also received a little note for the highway department asking them to pave Fieldstone Road. And that would, be the person.
Okay, thank you. Make a motion to accept the clerk's report. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. All right, supervisor report, is Wendy here?
Here.
All right, I want to just turn this portion, Wendy, what should I do?
John and I discussed it. I think we're gonna wait, correct, John?
Yeah, I don't think we have to jump right now. I mean, you can present the numbers, but until you have everything 24 to itemize forward with January into that. And some of those are 24s into 25s. So
Okay.
until you have a complete 24,
Okay,
like you were saying earlier.
all right, I just want to say something, supervisor report, we deal with like, the previous month, December. We've already concluded December, we already included the entire, accounting for 2024 last month. We did that already, so, for the accounting for December has already been done, in that sense. The accounting for January, we do in February. Going through. I do want to just add another aspect to this thing, and this is what it. All right, we have submitted the, annual financial review to State Controller's Office. And this is the 2023, this is what took us a long time. It cost us approximately $70,000 to go through this whole process at the time that Wendy has spent, Jim Quigley has spent, as well as RBT has spent and other things that to get this report done. What the report concludes is the following thing, that the amount of money spent in 2023, this is from the general fund, this is the A line, this is the line that we deal with there. The amount of money that was spent is $2,331,161.32. That's the actual money we spent here. However, the amount budgeted in 2023 was only $2,091,461. That means that we went into deficit for $239,732. In 2023, we had a deficit budget coming through here. And the problem with this is that there is other monies that we have not able to account for still yet. And the problem arises is that in December of 2023, on the reconciliation, there was a surplus of $291,000 money that was supposed to be put into capital H funds. I have searched, looking where that money is put in. I cannot find it. I have asked RBT to look for that money, and they said that it was never put in there. It doesn't mean that it's missing in a sense, because what it is, if it's not found in the capital H fund, it's residing in the general fund. But again, that should have been put into the capital H funds back in 2023. It wasn't. So we're talking about almost $600,000 there. That's discrepancy of $600,000 going through here. And
How about the highway? Was there a highway?
the highway also had a surplus of $335,000 that was supposed to put into a capital H fund, dealing with the highway, never put in there. So, your guess is as good as mine, where that money resides. All right, we have asked RDT to go through and look at it. I have asked also, with this is for the state controller to do a forensic audit on 2023. They said that, was any money missing? I said, I don't know. All right, they asked us to recreate the entire budget of 2023. Wendy Chojak, Jim Quigley, RBT, John Perry, and myself, we worked on this thing. And we recreated the best we can of all the paper that we had. There may have been other paper invoices that we don't know. So we don't understand. And I know RBT has questioned me on certain things, and my response is, I can't give you an answer. I don't know. And so we did the best we can. And so I have requested from the Office of the State Controller to do a forensic audit on the 2023 budget. They have requested us to go back and redo the 2022 budget next. So because they say there's some things that they feel is not quite, I could go there. I do want to say something also, besides the fact of being this way also, that in 2024, we paid $300,000 in bills that was not paid in 2023 or in 2022. We started out with a budget in 2024 of $1.8 million. That was the budget that was assigned to us, which is $300,000 less than the previous budget. We then had to take $300,000 of 2024 money to pay off bills that weren't paid in 2023 and 2022. So right away, we were down $600,000 when we started this January 1st, 2024. All right. I don't know why it is so. I'm just reporting that this is what we've seen coming through here.
Let's thank Wendy for all her hard work and try to recreate. 2022 to go get that. It's not easy. Just when we thought we were done. All right, there's a cop in there.
Well, as I mentioned to the who I spoke to in the Office of State Controller, I asked for a forensic audit, and they said we will look at this at the AFR. We submitted it, we certified it. They will then check it out and compare it to previous years and stuff like the backgrounds. The only problem with that, they started an audit on our transfer station back in 2017. This is 2025. So that's not done yet. You know, I think before, maybe within 10 years, they may start on this thing. I don't know, but I realize right now, and I feel that besides the county being very glacial in their movement, I think the state doesn't move at all on anything. The first question they asked me that we do not do a forensic audit on such small amounts. I don't think taxes are a small amount. When it comes to people paying taxes more or less and going through this, so I would prefer that they do something, but again, you know, they said they have other municipalities with millions and millions of dollars being embezzled more or less, but they have to, do that. They will consider us more or less going through that budget.
We can always do our own audit, hire a company to do an audit.
I spoke to, again, the Office of Control, they said, you don't have to, they will do the audit.
Yeah,
10 years.
10 years.
I would,
But we've got-
I would
but
prefer
here's the
to know
thing.
what I'm dealing with
Yeah.
now rather than wait 10
I do want to
years.
say something. We have an audit company, UHY here, and UHY is in charge of $50,000.
yeah, that was the problem. And
I
they,
understand
not
that.
only that, they didn't want to do, because when we started, we asked them to do the audit and they said they wouldn't. That's how it started. So there's a lot going on with this the financials in the town that really need to be corrected and need to be sorted out.
Well, like I said, I will contact Michelle Pinchy and Sarah Hanastreeter to try to prompt the Office of State Controller. I will call Elliot Alvath, who works for the Office of the State Controller, who also was the Ulster County Controller. I know him a little bit, and I'm going to ask him, you know, let's
Right,
make.
what does he think? What
Yeah.
did he recommend?
Well, here's the thing, what I had to tell you also. Myself, John Perry, and Matt Jankowski, we called in, March Gallagher, who is the controller of Ulster County, to look at this whole thing here, coming through here. She brought in her deputy, who's a CPA, Charles, I don't know his last name,
But again, they don't have the authority to,
but that's what they said.
so that's.
Right, I'm just saying though, when we asked for their opinion about this thing, and they said this is quite irregular. Again, what she said also, she does not have the authority to investigate municipalities.
Mike, just for current events, so some of the vouchers we're purchasing, we're already in the red based on some of these issues. Specifically Wendy's line, her contractual line. So, you know, we contracted $2,000 for her for the year. 160 of that was just this month, but 4,800 of it was to deal with the 2024. So you're going to see that line go red next month.
Yeah.
So these are things that, you know, everybody should know, putting in a board, why you're going to start seeing a negative on that line. Still dealing with some of this stuff.
Yeah.
And that's why you see some of the outlines that I put on the vouchers, just so y'all move forward.
Thank you, Mike. Thanks.
Okay, do I need a motion to make it, things, the supervisor's report, was it? No. Okay. All right. Building department report, you want me to do, Paul?
You can just, put that. It's on the screen.
All right. This is the month, this is from December 2024. All right, and I want you to notice the last part, the revenue per date, $188,093.50. The projected revenue for the building department, I think, was $114,000. 115,000 for 2023. I mean, I don't know. I mean, this to me is just remarkable. Either we're growing. All right, well, put it this way, the account is growing, the building department is not.
I'm sorry, what year? You said 2023?
2024, I'm sorry.
Okay.
I'm so fixed on 2023.
All right, just
This
check.
is 2024. And, you know, and if you look at the revenue for 2024, it's $188.93. And you look at how much expenditures that the building department did, which is mostly all, I shouldn't say mostly all, this is basically all, this is salaries. These are salaries here. And so like, that's a first. So we actually made money in the building department, which is not something to do anything, but like,
Good
it
job.
was nice.
It's a representation of how hard they work.
I'll tell you something, you know, I walk in here all the time to the building department, every morning I say hello to them. I mean, people there, they're outrageous. And I've gotten so many calls from the residents saying how professional the building department is. And, you know, to me, it's a reflection of Paul. To me, Paul's a gentleman. And he exudes that with everybody that walks into the office. You know, and basically, he is the face of the town. Because that's the first person you see when you walk into here, Paul. And, thank you, Paul. There's not enough, things I can say to say how grateful I am as well as the town.
Why don't you just take them off the ceiling now?
The other report here is the assessors report. Okay, and this is the sale prices of what is going on, more or less.
I can put it up.
Yeah. All right. And, again, this is just, sales and what is being listed, more or less, coming through. And again, as always, I want to thank Brittany and her staff also for doing a bang up job with us. These are people behind the scenes that you never get to see. And they work extremely hard for the town, make the town look smoother. Oh. All right, the next thing is the public hearing. Just one thing here, we're gonna start with, I'm sorry, this is late, so at 6 o'clock. This is the hearing, for Alex Perfect and, Katie Greaves, planning board fees. Oh, sorry. I make a motion to open a public hearing. Second. All right, any discussion? What do you have for that?
Because we
Because all
all seconded it.
All right.
So I guess you're all voting aye.
Any discussion? All in favor of opening public hearing? Aye. Any opposed? Katie,
I talk about it?
yeah, would you mind talking?
Yeah, just come to the mic. Full time.
Can you guys hear me okay?
No,
Just come close.
Okay, how's that?
Yeah.
Let me see if I can read my book at this time. Thank you guys for taking the time to, hear us. So on September 26th, we went to a planning board meeting, for a certificate of appropriateness. When I put in my application, we were charged a $200 fee, and $500 in escrow. I thought that was a mistake, but, Maggie said that it wasn't. But I needed to get my application in, so I just paid it, so I could get the application in to get into the meeting. I looked it up. Code 109-7D says no fees should be taken for a certificate of appropriateness. And the thing that we were going for, which was a mid-sized solar array on a private residence, that is subject for code 210-71. That says that will go to Paul, not the planning board. So the only reason we were there was for the certificate of appropriateness, not for planning board approval on the array for array specifications or whatever. And then in the past, I've had 2 certificate of appropriatenesses before the planning board. And neither time I was charged any escrow or planning board fees. And then the last thing is 19-4, the disbursement of escrow funds, G. It says the agency shall remit to the applicant a summary of the escrow charges on a monthly basis, but we didn't get that. We didn't get the charges until December 24th, I think, for September meeting. And they were for $1,700 in addition to our escrow payment of $500. That is what happened. I was hoping that you would disagree with that because I don't think it's fair. Thank you.
Do we have any paperwork on this one?
We student you, make work for, Bruce.
The welding, basically, the,
What you gave me, Katie, you gave me the, you have a copy of it right there?
the planning board stuff.
Yes.
So this is the overview and then the breakdown of the charges are inside.
I saw it too.
Some of that we funded, but I don't know what's left.
You got funded for any of this?
Yes.
Yes, so I started to email the planning board asking for my money back because I felt it was a mistake. And then I didn't get a response, but then our supervisor gave me my $200 fee back and he gave me $500 in escrow. So it's the $1,700 remaining that I need to hopefully have eliminated. I don't have it.
And just to clarify, so this particular hearing is not, it's pursuant to chapter 19. It has to do with escrow. The planning board takes an hold to not application fees, so the application fee that was refunded wouldn't even be considered regardless of this hearing. That's something totally different, and that was subject to the historic preservation statute, which clearly states that applications for certificates of appropriateness will not have application fees. But this is pursuant to chapter 19. So basically, what you guys are looking at is what the actual escrow fees were charged for, whether they were reasonable and necessary, and also whether the procedural requirements under statute were followed. And if you do want a refresher, I know there was a memo last time we had one of these hearings that just outlined it. But basically, under subsection, chapter 19, subsection 3A, there are certain procedural requirements for charging the escrow fees. And I can kind of go through some of them for you guys if you'd like. Basically, the planning board has to pass a resolution that the applicant defray the reasonable cost for the consultant fees necessary for the determination. Also, second to that, the consultants submit the vouchers for their services on a monthly basis to the applicant. And also that there needs to be verification that there was a previous review by the planning board of the vouchers to ensure that the charges were reasonable in amount and necessary for review of the application. Another requirement under chapter 19.4 is whether the vouchers were approved prior to submission for payment, and whether the planning board remitted to the applicant a summary of the escrow charges and balance on a monthly basis. So I asked if you guys have received any feedback from regarding this application, or if there's anyone from the planning board here who wants to speak regarding this application, so that some of those questions can potentially be answered.
Nobody from the planning board, the planning board.
Yes, and so that documentation was provided by the applicant. Do you have the planning board file for this?
I don't have.
So I think that would be this.
All I have is information that Katie gave me, and that's a complete file. You know, and the thing is though, this is a recurring problem. So, we had that with an applicant last month, Justin Hopper from Arizona had the same problem here. I have another complaint there, and this is from Ryan Moody, same kind of thing. Also, you know, he put in an application, paid the application fee, and 4 months later, 5 months later, he gets a big bill for something that's not clear, it's not defined what it is for, and all of that. So this is a recurring problem. You Ryan?
Ryder.
Ryder, oh.
Yeah.
That's him?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. So in other words, well, I don't know how it
But
would.
again, it's not relevant to this application. So this application, we're specifically looking at the application that was before the planning board for a certificate of appropriateness for this property. So that is the information that you should be considering. So do you have the actual escrow bills from?
It's in the file.
And have you guys had an opportunity to look at those and, you know, see whether any of these bills are reasonable and necessary? I can just tell you with regard to certificates of appropriateness, I am not aware of any time, any kind of consultant fees have ever been charged for review of a certificate of appropriateness. Under our statute, we have a historic preservation committee who gives a recommendation to the planning board. There's statutory language under our historic preservation statute, and basically the planning board reviews the recommendations of the Historic Preservation Committee, looks at the statutory requirements, and either decides to issue a certificate of appropriateness or deny it.
But there's no payment. There's no requirement for payment. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, well, there's no application fee, and also it's up to you to determine whether first also it's reasonable and necessary to have professionals billing this applicant in the amount that they bill them for the services that they provided.
So the 1780 that is on that bill as outstanding
Yes.
is in lieu of, is for payment of professional
Yes,
services.
so it's my understanding that professional planner and an attorney reviewed this particular application for a certificate of appropriateness.
Which is not required.
Well, it's not required, and I'm not aware of any circumstances ever in the past in which professional consultants reviewed the application for a certificate of appropriateness. And I do live in a historic district, so I've applied for quite a few of them over the past 20 years.
And I will say the bill was dated, October 31st from the attorney, but we didn't send the Katie Graves a bill to December 26th. 2 months later.
And the
And-
services that are being billed for, when did those services?
September to October was that one bill, and then there's a couple more little bills for, November.
So all the bills were late. You received invoices late.
You got all of them at
I
one
got-
time on
yeah,
December
I got them
26th.
all together at once, so it's, yeah, in a certified.
For when it in December.
December 26th, the letter is dated. I'm confused because that one bill is 1,700, and then there's bills after that October 31st date, 400, which is not really on. 17, so, yeah, something like that.
So do you anticipate another bill?
No, I don't think so. I hope not.
So there are the bills that were provided exceed the 1,700.
Well, there's one bill for 1,700 that's dated October 31st, but then there's bills in there for November.
Right, for November going forward, there are additional
So
bills.
I don't know where those, so if we do anything, we better put a date that we will waive bills on such and such, such and such.
So one thing I'm going to recommend, based on that there's additional bills in there, is that when this hearing is complete, that you leave it open, and so that the planning board can provide the additional information, and then you guys don't make a determination to the next meeting. So leave it open to February 11th.
Makes sense, thank you.
And by the way, until there's no payment.
Okay, I can't, I don't have it.
That's all I just saying. Do you have a copy of this or?
No,
That's
not
theirs.
a copy.
So that is being submitted to the board, so why don't you make the copies, and then the board has a copy and scan it to the rest of the board. All the information that you guys are considered as part of the record.
Open until the guy went back, until the planning board comes back and responds. To
The first February meeting then?
February 11th. That actually,
We will be here. Thank you very much for considering this. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
to be fair, it's with the board, it's the entire board, it's not one person.
Well, thank you. Well, you got me here.
Make a motion to.
Yes, motion to keep the public hearing open until
So moved.
February
February
11th.
11th. All right, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed?
Katie, that meeting is going to be at the West Hurley Firehouse.
Yes, by the way, our next meeting is West Hurley Firehouse. All right, the next meeting, our public hearing is the Stango property on 329. Due to a glitch and, with the newspaper, the public hearing, it wasn't properly you tell me, wasn't properly,
You didn't publish it.
they didn't publish it. They didn't publish it properly. Instead, what we had two, public hearings today, and the paper put down Katie agrees to both of them. And so Sandra wasn't there, so we have to do basically is we have to submit this back to them and hopefully by the 11th. Then we decide on.
Did you also put out an extension request? You didn't do
Well, it's not an extension, it's the fact that, the woman, what's her first name?
Alex.
Alex.
So let's not talk about it.
Well, I know, okay.
Information.
I know, but.
If there was a request for additional time,
There was.
right now, they need to be served again with a new notice, a new public hearing.
Right.
And yes, that day, if they're requesting additional time, when the building department does basically properly serve them with a new date, we can take that into consideration when scheduling it and then.
All right, so we're gonna just, again, apply for the public hearing on this.
Not. So
We need to
you want
defer.
to,
A motion?
Do you want to establish a resolution?
well,
Pre
Yeah.
sending out the,
I don't think that, like, this is not something that's going to be taking place at the beginning of, or at our next meeting. There's definitely additional stuff, so what I would probably say, since, that basically you're tabling this issue and it's going to be addressed probably at the next public meeting, they can make a resolution. They can make sure that they're heard properly and the new hearing can be scheduled.
Should we be, shutting down a public hearing, or do we have to wait till you get it started before we should? Put it down?
I would say that again.
Can we schedule a public hearing, or do we have to wait till they get served before?
Well, it's my understanding that the people themselves have certain reasons why they want this to be put out of it. And right now, do you have a resolution or all the information needed to? No.
Okay,
So
no,
it makes sense to table this
so we just,
and then address it.
we need a resolution to table it, or is it just,
You can make the motion to table this matter.
okay, I'll make the motion to table this.
There is no public hearing.
Wait,
I think
wait.
it's posted in the agreement.
You served us. You
Yeah.
got certified.
Right, so you have an opportunity, you can speak at the public comment section at the end, but basically, at the end of the.
Donna, what happened was, it wasn't any fault of us. We did everything properly. The newspaper, don't yell at him.
Who?
He's not there now.
He never- he walked in.
I'm just saying, but, the newspaper put the wrong information on. As because of that,
How long ago did you folks put the information to the newspaper?
more than 10 days ago. I would say about 2 weeks
January
ago.
11th, January 10th, actually.
January 10th.
And when did it come out?
Came out that, January 12th.
It was supposed to be published on the 13th.
No, we didn't, and nobody
So
noticed it.
the newspaper published twice the hearing that just took place instead of putting notice out for the two different public hearings. So that's where there was a mistake in the publishing. But all of that could be addressed at public comment section. This is not public comment section. So at the time when there's public comment, then that would be
I
the
have a
appropriate
question
time
as
to.
to why it
But
was.
that questions can be asked at during public comment. But right now, the board needs to address it as a board.
Listen, we apologize.
So I understand, I'm just wondering why it wasn't caught.
it's a good question.
It just wasn't. Okay. All right, old business, update on the highway guard.
Motion to table.
Yeah, I'll make the motion to table the, schedule for the next. What do you say?
So you're gonna have to tell them.
Any opposed? Okay, so the,
Yeah.
Well, this is public information. Yeah. gentleman.
You'll have to guide me through what I have up here, so just.
Have a good God.
It's all on you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is John Gross. I'm with Delaware Engineering. The supervisor asked me to give a status report regarding the proposed new highway garage. For the public's information, that highway garage is to be located on the town park on Dug Hill Road. Because that property is used as a park, even though where we're going to situate the highway garage is it's a wooded area. We're not taking any recreational area like ball fields or anything like that. But because it's on a town park property, there's an alienation process that has to go through. So the town board has determined that it wishes to alienate that property. And then we had to submit a number of forms, as you can imagine, a lot of documentation to the New York State Assembly. That's Assemblywoman Shrestha's office and Senator Hinchy's office as well. The Senate will introduce a bill supporting the alienation of this property, of these acres. It's 8 acres. And the Assembly will introduce a bill supporting the alienation of the 8 acres. And when we have those 2 Assembly bills passed, we can then proceed with the new highway garage on that property. Now, again, for the public's information, while we're alienating 8 acres, taking 8 acres out of that parkland, the town board has also determined to pull an additional 8 acres into the parkland, so the park acreage stays the same. And we're fortunate the town owns property directly adjacent to the park. So we're going to take 8 acres out and we're going to replace it with another 8 acres. And tomorrow I have a call with Assemblywoman Shrestha's staff to go through the particulars. My sense is that in conversations with the senator's staff that this can be done fairly quickly. They have everything they need except for, I found out yesterday, they need a narrative of the meets and bounds. We've been providing them with a survey map. We need to convert that information into a narrative. We should have that from the town engineer in the next couple of days, and we'll get that over to the Assembly of Senate. And I'll get back to the board on the results of the call tomorrow and any information relative to timing, although I think this is going to go fairly quickly. So that's the alienation process. Everything's going well. The second item for the board's consideration and information consideration tonight regards the seeker process, the State Environmental Quality Review Act. Back in November, the board classified this project as a type 1 action. The board also declared its intent to act as lead agency. In December, we noticed all the interested and involved agencies that the town wants to be lead agents, wants to be lead agent for seeker. We received no substantive comments and certainly no disagreement with the town board doing that. So tonight, at this meeting, the board has the opportunity to examine the relevant seeker issues and then conclude seeker by determining that the project will have no significant adverse impact. So I've handed the board a packet, each board member a packet, and there was essentially 3 forms in there. The first form is a part 2 form. Remember back in November, we did the part 1 form. We described the project and we let everybody know what the project looked like. Tonight, the board has in front of them the full environmental assessment form part 2, as well as the full environmental assessment form part 3 with the supplemental narrative. And then if the board wishes to pass a resolution of determination of significance, we also included a draft resolution for the board's consideration. When we talk about the part 2 of the EAF, I know the board has been through this many, many times, but for the public, there are 18 subject areas that a board has to give a hard look at to adequately comply with seeker. And I'll just run through those 18 subject areas very quickly. I won't go into the weeds on every one, but I'll go through the 18 very quickly. So the following subject areas are addressed. Number one, impact on impact on land, impact on geological features, impact on surface water, on groundwater, on flooding, on air, on plants and animals, on agricultural resources. Now, this is wooded, so no agricultural resources. On aesthetic resources, on historic and archaeological resources, on open space and recreation, on critical environmental areas, on transportation, energy, noise, odor, light, human health, consistency with the community's plans, and consistency with the community character. So those are the 18 subject areas that the board has to consider as agent of the board. We have, and we've checked this form in the areas that we think are appropriate. In every case, we've noted that there is either no impact, or the impact is small for every single case. All right. That is the environmental assessment form number 2. Environmental assessment form number 3 is essentially a document that this board would authorize that says that no significant environmental impact has been noted. And attached to that form, part 3, is a narrative that you have in front of you that I think is 10 pages long. And what we've gone through is we've gone through every one of those 18 subject areas, and we've described why the impact, if there is any, is a small impact. And that supplemental narrative, that is a typical part of the project file when you go through the secret process. And then the last document is a resolution to issue a determination of environmental significance pursuant to secret. What we've recommended is that, and we filled this resolution out to say, is that the board determines that there is no significant impact. Should the board agree with that by resolution, then seeker is concluded. And then subsequent, we'll let the alienation process play out for a little while, but then I'll be back to the board to talk about next steps in terms of actually detailed design and getting this going. It's been everybody on the board's desire that in 2025, by the time the snow flies, we've got a place to put equipment and our guys. So that's what I have in front of you. So comments?
Are you asking us to pass this resolution?
Yes, I am.
I'm sorry.
I would hold on to my,
What?
to Matt's second.
Oh, I don't know.
But you can discuss. I'm interested. It's type 2.
This is type 2.
I didn't know what that, but
Type 2B. I know, but we're not gonna do that.
And if there's any hesitancy about doing it tonight, we'll do it at your next board meeting. So I never like to rush a board. I think that it's fairly straightforward, but I'm not the one who's voting.
I would like to take the opportunity to actually read the 10-page summary.
By all means.
I would like to maybe table this.
Yep, that sounds great.
Is that gonna slow the process down for us?
No, it will not. It will not. We've got a parallel alienation process going on at the Senate Assembly. I'll be at your next meeting, answer any questions on these documents, and then we can move it along.
So the question that I have, John, is that in terms of the Assembly and the Senate,
Yes,
you said that process should be pretty quickly concluded.
I'm saying that with all due consideration that a half hour ago, the supervisor said that New York State government moves at a glacial pace. So I think in this case, the issue is very straightforward, and I think it can be done fairly quickly. I asked for some more context to that today, and I did not get it. But that's just because folks don't want to be held to a date. So, and I understand that. It's
Suppose they say no. What happens then?
if someone were to, this is a home rule state. And home rule wins unless there's something some precedent that could be applied to other situations around the state, et cetera, et cetera. The research that we did and our government relations folks did, this is pretty straightforward. It happens all the time. In fact, for some of the documentation that we filled out, we used as an example other alienations that had gone through. And so, you know, Greg, there's never, in a case like this, it would not be a final no, but it would just delay us as we figure out how to turn the no into a yes.
So I think that's what I wanted to hear because, you know, I can see the possibility of this being a no.
Yep.
But you're saying that no could be turned to a yes, which is more important.
Yeah, and I think in this case, this community has been very unified.
Yeah.
This, you know, we haven't had a 3-2 vote on the board. We haven't had our residents object that this is inappropriate. In fact, everybody's been agreeable. If that were not the case, and that got back to either the Senate or the Assembly, well, then they're going to slow down.
Yeah.
In fact, we probably wouldn't get a no. We're going to get a, you need to come in and talk to us.
Okay. All right.
I spoke to Michelle Henchy about this, and she described how to vote it, the procedure.
I imagine so.
So there's a whole bunch of this together, and it has to check all of them. And speaking to Augustus.
Yeah.
Nobody should be having it, so.
And we do, as I said, we have a call with Assemblywoman Russ's staff, Ben Wilcox tomorrow. And should something come up in that call that conflicts with what I just told you, I will let you know.
Please, thank you.
And I also have a letter from the DOC DEP. They agree with us being the lead agency. Because they can also, it may affect the rental market. So the letter here, I don't know if
Yep.
have you got this letter?
You got it.
Okay, so this letter here, this is from the DEP, DOC, saying that they accept us being the lead agency in this process.
And
We have that covered.
there's some question whether we're actually in the New York City watershed or not. You know, I mean, there's a line on a map, but that line is probably 400 feet wide. So,
Well, we're in the watershed when it concerns them. When it concerns us, we're not in the watershed.
exactly. All right, any other questions?
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
I want to do one thing before we had to introduce the one, so. Oh, okay.
Oh,
So you can-
Yeah.
Right, so-
Yeah.
Okay, the next thing here, so we can discuss the garage. The thing here is next one is lead check, and, this is a major problem going through. Our report came out in, I'm gonna put you in back here on this thing here. On January 1st, 2024, myself and Michelle, we met, we met the interim director of Opera at that point, and we were doing basically, we were actually sending the contract back to Opera to do the leachate polls. Now, before then, leachate pools in 2023 was done by an outside vendor who was charging $1,000 per pool. That person would then bring that leachate to the Kingston Wastewater Treatment Center, and then we would charge 7 cents per gallon. And so at that time, it was like $1,700 for every leachate pool that we have done. We decided to go back to Upper, who charges only $285 per pool. That's a 72% reduction of what it is. The 7 cents still is in play there. When I told the Tim DeGraff of Upper about the fact that that the landfill is a Superfund site by the New York State, he said, hold on a second. He called up the Kingston Wastewater Treatment Center and asked them a question. And right away, they said they will no longer accept our leachate DEC approval. Next day, we got a phone call from Alan, the operator of the Kingston Wastewater Treatment Center. They will accept it. So we've been going through that and accepting and doing that. December 17th, 2024, a report came out called the leachate loophole, written by Rebecca Martin. All right, and in that, it talks about how leachate is not monitored, how leachate is not filtered out. There's a filtering system in the wastewater treatment center. They do not filter out PFOAs or PFAS. These are forever chemicals going through. Now, the MCL, the maximum contaminant level of PFAS and PFOAs, is 4 parts per trillion. 4 parts per trillion. Now, you got to figure what that is. You have a trillion balls. 4 of them is PFAS, PFOAs. All right. Our leachate contains 70 parts per trillion. Which now it's 70 balls out of a trillion balls are coming through there. But the report came in, I get an email from Mayor Steve Noble from Kingston saying, as of now, today, your leachate is no longer accepted at the Kingston Wastewater Treatment Center. We were in a bind. We have a full tank up there, no place to put it. I called up Albany if they accept our leachate. No. I called out the Kingston. No. Called up Sauby's. Their response was yes. And I said, how much we're talking about? They said no. I called up Beacon. No. I called up the Kingston. No. I spoke to Wind River about doing something, and they said there's a place in Passaic Valley, New Jersey, that might accept our leachate. That's 2 hours away. That's going to cost somewhere around $3,000 per pole to go that way. I called up the DEC and I explained our situation here, that we are stuck in a rock and a hard place. I called up Rebecca Martin, who issued this order, who did this study, did this report, and she put me in touch also. We had a 3-week council, myself, Rebecca Martin, and John Lipscomb, who's the head of the Riverkeeper. And we talked about it. I said, he's not the head, he was ship captain of that. And so we spoke about this, and I explained to Rebecca, we are in a bind. We have this leachate that's collecting. In 2021, we were cited because our landfill was contaminated with leachate because someone on the board suspended the leachate pool for 15 months. And the field was saturated, and July 14th of 2021, Dave Pollock, the DEC, violated us. When John Perry and I called up, I spoke to John Pollock, Dave Pollock, he asked us to send him all the bills of the leachate pools. John called up Okra, asked him to send all the bills, and we were told then that there were no leachate pools for 15 months. When we asked him why there were no leachate pools for 15 months, he said a councilman on town board suspended it. And the reason it was suspended because he assumed that the leachate was all rainwater. And therefore, being all rainwater, we're paying for rainwater. And he always came to town board meetings saying how much money was saved by not doing it. We had no idea until that was done. When we found out that we were violated, John Perry called up Okra and said, please come and do the leachate pools. They came like 2 or 3 times a day for like 10 days. It was just filling up tremendously. I spoke to Dave Pollock afterwards and I said to him about why, he asked me why there's no leachate pools in it. I could not answer him. I cannot answer him why. And he gave me a scenario. The scenario was that this is what's going to happen. The leachate is going to saturate the entire field. I'm assuming you know what leachate is. Leachate is, you have to be a closed landfill. Every time it rains, the rain percolates down and it dissolves away leaches some of the materials away, some of the hazardous chemicals there. one of the hazardous chemicals there is PFAS, PFOAs, and PFAS. And these substances come from styrofoam cups. That's the second leading second leading part of the landfill, where plastic is the most abundant. This is the second most abundant. This was done legally. You can bring styrofoam cups there, but it leaks out the PFAS and PFOAs, and that has to be taken care of. That's a forever chemical. I studied chemistry a little bit, and so there's Greg here and so forth. We know how stable that compound is, never breaks down, and what it can do more or less. And so basically, he gave a scenario that suppose you did not do leaching for 15 months, your whole field's saturated. And what happens basically around the field is a berm to keep the leachate in. When we discovered the leachate was so full, it breached the berm, broke the berm, and migrated out of the landfill. He said that, you're going to wind up getting phone calls saying that the neighbors' houses nearby may have leachate or may have PFAS and 1,4-dioxane in their well water. 2 months later, we get the phone call saying there's 2 houses adjacent to the field that has the same contaminants as the leachate, as the landfill has more or less. And they were given carbon filters, they taken care of by the DEC and so forth. So we kind of dodged that one. We are now in the same boat. We have not done a leachate for 3 weeks since we were told by Steve Noble we can't do it. I've contacted DEC. We had a meeting on Friday. A bunch of DEC people, Steve Noble, Michelle Hinchy, our engineers, and they realized what kind of problem it was. In fact, Rebecca Martin said to me that I understand the problem. Maybe you can call up Steve Noble and see if he can give you maybe 30 days of bring the leachate there and so forth. She understood the problem. But Steve Noble won't do anything until the DEC does a reporting showing that their effluent that comes out of their wastewater treatment center is below the level of the maximum contaminants, not adding out in there. So we're waiting on that. And meanwhile, I called up John Milton, who's in charge of the DEP. I said, John, you got a problem. Our landfill sits downhill of the reservoir. So our problem now may be small for us, but we got a problem. It's not going to the reservoir because the 2 houses that were contaminated back then are a direct path to the reservoir going this way. And he said, and so I said that, welcome aboard. And so we're waiting right now for the report from, so it was that Steve Noble said that if he gets the okay from the DEC to, after they do the testing on the case of wastewater, you can do it, they will then come back and resume the same on a temporary basis. The thing is, though, that what's saving us a little bit is that we are applying for a $1.325 million grant to study how to find solutions for the leachate. Is that a
state grant?
This is actually an ESC, Environmental Facilities Corporation, which is a corporation founded in DC. It's part of DC.
It's a state grant.
It's a state grant. Yes, it's a state grant.
It's really important. So
It's a state grant, which again moves very closely.
it's not a federal grant.
Not federal.
You get what Greg is talking about.
I understand. This is not a federal grant. So far, it has not been pulled back on this kind of thing. All right, so what's happening basically is, so this grant is meant to study the project. There's 2 solutions to the project. One is dig it all up and cart it away. That just brings the problem downstream to somebody else. That's not a solution. The other solution is to do on-site treatment, which is smart. You run through filters, and then you have a pond near there, and then the filter that comes out will then be stored in the pond there, clean, and then we just change the filters more or less. All right. The first to dig up the entire landfill is not going to happen. There's no way. It appears to us right now that we are getting this grant. We are the first municipality that is getting a grant, only because we're the first municipality that was declared a Superfund site. So it looks like we're getting this grant because they're asking us who our contractors are. Do they do prevailing wage? Do they, they're asking us questions that they should be asking, but they said no. And my feeling also, once they give us the grant to do the study, they must give us the grant to clean it up. Because otherwise, that 1.325 million, well, for that, you're not going to clean it up. So, and the thing is also, suggestion was made that maybe we start the on-site treatment. But if we did that, it might jeopardize our plant. And so, our consultant said, you can't jeopardize that grant. Yeah, so we're waiting on this thing going through there. We're stuck with the problem.
Do you have any kind of time frame, Mike, as to when you think the answer might come?
The grant,
No, but from Steve Noble getting ready to.
DEC put this on the front burner on Friday. They are dealing with it today. I gave him 1 day, tomorrow I'll call. And ask him, you said you wanted 1 day. They see, the DEC sees the issues. They know this is a grave issue. All right, and we have history, the fact that we had a leachate saturate the field and what it caused. So they know the issue. And I deliberately involved the DEP because get them moving also. This is not a town problem now. It's a state problem and a New York City problem. And maybe that gets done, something gets done that way. I will call Kelly Tortoro, who's the head of the DEC, asking what's your recommendation, what's your result, and get this going. We cannot afford to spend about $20,000 on leachate, where we've been spending right now $800 on each pole. We can't spend $20,000 to send it to say,
Well, that's not even an option.
I know that in that sense, it's going through it. But, and in the report that Rebecca Martin wrote, she specifically mentions Hurley. All right, there's 2 places where she mentions Hurley there. And, this report reflects also on the Mohawk River, as well as the Hudson River. It's both. Well, we are predominantly cited in this Hudson River thing. And I understand Steve Noble's dilemma. I understand it quite right. I'm an environmental scientist. I know what the problem is. I know what the problem we're going to have here, which is great in this fashion. So I spoke to Steve Noble. I said, Steve, whatever decision you make, I back you. I understand. So I'm just waiting for the DEC to come through and do the testing and see what's going on.
But I should also, I'll just add to this that the most important thing about this report, it demonstrated that throughout New York State, the way the state structured leachate management was badly done. And there needs to be a remedy through the state. The state needs to provide a solution to the towns. It's not the town's fault for getting into this situation. Now we're stuck with an effluent that we can't get rid of because somebody else didn't do their job correctly. So, Rebecca Martin and I had a long conversation about this, just to reaffirm this. And the solution is, or the suggestion is that as a town, we need to go to the state and make the petitions to resolve this issue with state funds. And so, this is going to be a big issue going forward.
Right. Well, the only thing the DEC, Kelly Tortoro said to me was, they're going to call up the ESC, see if they can fast track our grant and going this way. Because if you fast track the grant, we get the grant, Steve Noble Neighborland, and allow us to then bring our leachate now back.
Until at least the study's over. Right?
Yeah, I do want to say something which really disturbs me a lot. We do leachate pools. The town of Marbletown does not. The town of Arnold does not. And I asked, why do we do it and they don't do it? The reason being is their landfill was capped prior to 1996. Ours was capped in 1996 when the regulations came in that from this point on, all capped landfills must be leachate. Those that were capped before that were exempt, grandfathered in. So whoever was our supervisor back then, I don't care.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, we are really working. We know the gravity of the situation. We know that we can't let this go. We know this has to be done now, and we are going to be pressuring the DEC to do something about this thing. Either fast track our grant, get this going, or somehow test the wastewater treatment, the effluent coming out of the wastewater treatment to see by adding hours, does that make them go over the MCL? So stay tuned.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Is
the town subject to be fined for that?
No, I mean, they said that, well, put it this way, if they're gonna find us, we'll find them. Because now it's up, it's that, we have no solution.
Yeah, we don't have,
We have no solution whatsoever.
where are we gonna put it? We don't, nobody wants to take it. We don't have space to put it anywhere, so what are we gonna do?
It's for the reservoir.
We're stuck. Yeah, well, let's contaminate the entire New York. Yeah.
I'm just saying, this is something that, we are stuck in a rock and a hard place at this point right now. And the answer has come from the DDC, and they understand the situation.
Yes.
They understand it, and they are working on it.
They're making fast track faster than us.
Yeah,
Let's-
okay.
Yeah.
All right, the next one, community solar.
I have it up.
Yeah, I want to show you something. This is community solar. And what this is basically is, we buy power from community solar. This is a Westchester-based company. And what you see on the left-hand side, on the right-hand side there, that's $1,440 savings. We save 10% on our electric bills. From that, it costs us nothing to join. And we get $1,440 savings a year. If you go through that. Now, one of the buildings that's not applicable is the town hall. The reason being is because we have solar panels. You can't have solar panels. And,
We should have an electric bill anyway.
well, we do have electric bill. Yeah.
Yeah.
We have, it's very slight, it's small. I make sure that when Lynn Valley leaves here, turn the lights off. So like, we have, it's really, I mean, Irma always tells me, look at this electric bill from this town. We're talking about $50 at the most. And 25 is the meter. So, solar works.
Do we
but
have this yet, or is this what you're proposing?
No, we have.
This is what I'm proposing, that we go with them, and sign a contract with them
Okay.
to get this, in other words,
Did we check other towns? Because I read something in the Freedom recently where they said it was a horrible, whatever the towns were going on was a horrible one.
well, here's the thing. I spoke to, Tracy Kellogg, said, speak to Rich Parody over Marble Tank, see what they are doing. So I called up Rich Parody, I asked him about his solar, commitment, where it was. It's different. They work with a solar company, and they promote the solar, this is solar to their, residents. And every resident, every resident signs up to it, Marble Tank gets $50. That's their solar, project, more or less. I said to him, do you actually belong to, do you get this kind of thing? They know, they don't get this kind of thing.
Well, can you check though with the Association of Towns and see if there's any other towns on the plan that you want? Because like I said, the Freeman did not shed a good light on it.
On what, the company?
On the company that the towns were using. I don't know if it's.
This is sustainable.
I don't know if it's yours or not. I'm
No,
just
this
saying.
is sustainable Westchester.
This is sustainable Westchester. Okay.
Yeah, so I just asked, that you.
I think you have the packet.
Yeah, but
It's in there.
I know the companies, I don't think it's the same company.
Yeah, I'll have to go back and look.
Yeah, I don't think it's the same company.
But it's a valid point. You should just make a phone call to the town association.
Oh, absolutely.
I will make a call to the
Association of Towns.
town and see if there's any other.
Yeah, I have solar panels and I love them. I mean, it's saving me a ton of money.
Same thing. Of course, you have solar panels, I have solar panels, you can't apply for this.
I don't want to flash.
I know, but as an additional thing.
I got space heaters on every single room in my house.
You can't double
Electric bill is still there.
Right.
But it-
So, I will call, Associated Towns, I will have a resolution, we'll bring this resolution back on the 11th, and if we like it, we also have $10, because we didn't sign up sooner, right? But that'd be safe and sorry, right? And I will call up the Better Business Bureau to ask about sustainable Westchester,
Westchester.
if they have any kind of complaints.
Yeah, I think they're a reputable company.
You know, right?
Yeah.
Okay. That's good enough for me.
Should we move up this one?
Yes.
Ambulance.
All right,
So if you guys are okay, we have some folks from the Hurley ambulance service here. So I'd like to move up the resolution.
Yeah, I'll bring it up
Getting
for you.
so late. Up to the top.
There it is.
About the Board of Commissioners. So first, I'd like to introduce Matt Cerny. He is the president of the Board of Directors for Hurley Ambulance Service. And Kent Fitzgerald, CEO, is that correct? Operations manager?
Executive director, in a volunteer position at this point.
Volunteer executive.
Who helped us tremendously even get to where we are with the ambulance district and Hurley Ambulance Service. So
So basically, in last year, we had considered to have a board of commissioners sit between the town board and Hurley Ambulance Service. Basically be like a liaison, but because we have such a awesome board of directors, on the Hurley Ambulance Service, and this board is well versed now in what it takes to run an ambulance district, I think that we don't really need to complicate it with a board of commissioners. And our lawyer actually recommended that as well, that we might want to consider board commissioners first. But really it's not necessary. So with that, we put forward a resolution to forego the appointment of a district board of ambulance commissioners to oversee the operation of the ambulance district, and the town board will just assume that role of overseeing the ambulance district. So I like to motion, this resolution.
I'll second.
Thank you, Diana. Any discussion, any questions? Okay. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any
Very
opposed?
good.
Any opposed?
So we will interface directly with you now. So, I'm looking forward to it very much.
Yeah, we're committed to making sure the communication is very open, very transparent. Throughout this process, we're all going to learn together, of how to do this, to do it well. We'll
Thank you
make sure
very
you
much.
post
And
communication.
thank you to the board, Ken, all of you for stepping up. This is a
thank you.
total volunteer position. These board of directors that are gonna run this ambulance service is a total volunteer position, and so, the town is indebted to you. Thank you.
In conjunction with that, this past Saturday, there was the banquet for the Hurley firemen, and the fire department there.
Wait, I have the picture.
Okay. So
Did you see this?
I did. It was pretty cool.
It's coming. It's coming. There you go.
All right, one of the things that I found truly amazing, they honored our council person, Eddie Dowry. She spearheaded this whole thing, and she always gives the town board credit for this thing.
Absolutely.
And you know something? Yes, all right. Credit should be given to, where should be given, and that's gotta be, Debbie.
You get 10% credit.
No, but I'm just saying that they honored her, and I was very proud. I was very proud of that moment. I was very proud of the fact that, I mean, I was earlier, and I'm so proud of, Debbie. And,
Yeah, it was really nice.
and it was just really.
Oh, from the Evans, just, you know, something that they really dream about.
That's an incredible.
You know, I spoke to like, some towns that try to do the same thing, get a tax district, like get it also, well, they can't admit, they can't believe how fast it was done in this town. We started August.
Well, we
We
started
started the
early
process.
discussion, yeah.
We started the
early
process in
discussion.
August.
We started the process in August.
And we got it done by November.
Yeah, I can't believe it. I worked at the hospital with both of the ambulance companies that existed back then, and I never saw anything move until the very end, and then they were just gone. Then they came back and they were gone again.
90%.
Well, that's,
And you guys are great.
that's because I got a challenge that I couldn't do it.
Oh, there you go. That's all it takes.
Remember talking about like how glacial the county moves and how static the state moves? We moved.
Yep.
We moved.
We moved.
Like, it's important to note, I think, that Debbie is doing this, she's the second generation of her family
Yes.
establishing EMS in Hurley. You know, her father was
Good
key
job.
in the original
Wow.
setup of Hurley having an ambulance. So now that EMS has evolved, it's amazing the timing. But now Debbie has stepped in and spearheaded this. So her family she's carrying on a family tradition.
Wow. That's
Yeah,
amazing.
Way to go.
Yep, and when I am on the fire, I'm a volunteer firefighter now. And when I go out, I wear my dad's, Hurley Fire Department hat.
There you go.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, thanks, everyone. Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
Yeah, let's move on before we start calling.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you gotta.
All right, so we're up to
Complete streets.
complete streets.
Yes.
Again.
That's me again. So our safety committee Betsy Blair. I'm gonna mess up because now I'm all emotional, the name. Betsy, Shannon Rice, Wendy Trojak, Vince Hopefully, and, Julian, thank you, Julian Shapiro. Have been doing many things with safety. One of the things that they looked at is, Woodstock adopted a complete streets policy. And this is really important, in a perspective of, we're looking at making sure existing infrastructure and anything new that is done or upgraded, that we take into consideration not just vehicle traffic, but pedestrians and bikers as well. And we make the streets completely and safe for everyone. So basically by passing a policy, which we basically took this from Woodstock, we're bouncing off of Woodstock to reuse. Betsy wrote this resolution. If we adopt this policy, that helps us to be, for future grants. We have more eligibility for future grants. So really makes sense in my eyes to just pass this policy. So I'd like a motion to adopt a complete streets policy for the town of Hurley. Thank you. Any discussion? Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much.
Any opposed? Good.
Thank you. Thank you.
The next resolution here is to change the clerk, the building clerk position, the clerk position from the building department to grade 3 and a full-time position. All right, I'll read this. This is very short. Whereas Kimberly McConaughey is currently employed as a part-time clerk, civil service, 1321, competitive to the building department at the hourly rate of $20 per hour, 30 hours per week. And whereas this position is currently listed as a grade 2 in the United Public Service Employees Union General Bargaining Unit collective bargaining agreement, therefore being resolved that the town board of the town of Hurley remove the clerk position to a full-time position and a grade 3 at the hourly rate of $22 per hour for 40 hours per week, 2,080 hours annually, effective immediately. This is the budget code 8362.1 or 47,840 annually.
So moved.
Second. Second.
And I just like to make a comment.
Go right
Can I
ahead.
make a comment? So we saw how busy the building department is, and that's reflected in how much of the revenue that they've brought in. I think this is absolutely necessary, to make sure that we continue to provide that service and that great service to the town of Hurley.
I just want to comment also on Kim herself. She's on the civil service list. She took 6 tests, and all 6 tests she got 100.
Nice.
She is number 1 on all these civil service things. We gotta lock her up, before someone takes her. I just, she is. I speak volumes of great she. Paul, can speak even more volume about how wonderful she is and how she's doing things. Okay, so,
I second. Oh, we did that already. I'm just sorry.
any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
So there. Paul, you let her know?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
Okay.
This is it. The date states the establishment of the 40-hour. Stated.
You don't have that.
Immediately, but I would say we should go back to January 1st, no?
No, but she didn't work 40 hours with the pay? Yeah. No, let's go back with the pay, but no, it's only 30 hours.
So I said that we're,
So we go 30 hours with the pay?
well, is she been here Monday, Tuesday this week?
Yes.
But if.
Look, she's not gonna argue, if she starts full-time Monday.
Right,
she's not gonna
usually
argue.
whatever's the pay, so that's Wendy, when's the next pay thing? It's easier to do it on a regular, not in the middle of the pay thing. I'm afraid you don't do it in the middle.
No, we're gonna do it at the next pay period.
I do Monday.
Yes, logistically, that's the only way it can be done.
Exactly, thank you.
Okay, next one, is the resolution to appoint Joan Passion as the ethics board chair. Resolved by the town board of the town of Hurley that Joan Passion is appointed as chair of the ethics board, term expiring 12/31/2026. Second. Any discussion?
How nice that is, good, yeah.
Say-
How nice that is, good.
You know something? One of the things that I realize about this town, we may run the town, but it's also run by all the volunteer committees
Yes.
that come to, we can't do our job without them. And I think, there are times where, when I was on the council and John was our supervisor, here, we couldn't get volunteers. Now we have a lot of volunteers. And I find that really amazing.
And we solicit for more. Anybody who wants to step in, and there's plenty of stuff. If it's not today, I'm sure that there'll be more openings. So we actually put a survey out there.
Still there.
Anybody who's interested, you can, select which committees or boards you're interested in and submit, and then we'll have a pool of people to pick from when we have openings. So.
If anyone's interested, it's on the homepage of our website.
All right.
So, make a motion to,
All those in favor?
all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank
Like
you.
that meeting, initial meeting should happen. It's usually.
It's in February. Yeah, February, and I just got let everybody.
I think it's in our organizational meeting, February 10th.
I think it is, yes. I'll let them know. The thing is also, we have to fill out an NDA, non-disclosure agreement.
And all the boards and
And all the
committees are
boards
supposed
too.
to as well. Yes.
It's not an NDA,
Wonderful.
it's a financial disclosure.
Financial disclosure.
It's an FDA.
It's not a non-disclosure, it's a disclosure.
I just couldn't think of the.
Those forms are on the back table.
Okay.
Condition is it does not state the date.
It has a date.
You had a date in there. Well, we can.
All right, well, let's move on.
Yeah, let's keep.
Okay, resolution to reappoint, I don't know if it's reappoint, but to appoint Ray Palmer to the planning board as a member. There's a vacancy there. All right, so we want to reappoint.
So, well, he's an alternate
He's
now.
the alternate one.
And he will
And
move
moves up.
up to.
I'll second that.
Okay,
Yeah.
any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. I know, this is at the, this is to reappoint, resolution to appoint Tracy Keller to the planning board as chair. We've done this already.
But we did this at the last meeting.
We have to do it again?
No.
Well, that's pretty team, I guess.
Tracy asked us to do it.
We appointed her in the organization.
I know that.
All right, okay, all right, well, she wants it then.
Yeah, so just to, keep things on the,
Yeah.
make a motion to,
I'll second.
okay, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Next one is,
Rolling.
all right, you want to talk about this, Diana?
Yes, so now, since Ray Palmer moved up, we have a, alternate two goes to alternate one, we had opening for alternate two. And Deb and I interviewed 5 people and we picked Raleigh Green. And like I said, Raleigh's been living in Hurley for 8 years. He's been in our area longer than that. He was recently on the board of the Hurley Heritage Society. He's been very, very involved in the historic Kingston, the burning thing that goes on every year in October. And I think he's going to be a great asset to that board. And he was very happy to put his services up. So we're going to put him as planning for as the alternate number 2. So it changes. This is appointed to alternate 1. Janet Briggs is alternate 1, so this is going to be alternate 2.
I just want to add more things to what Diana said. There have been 5 people that applied for this position, and they've all been interviewed.
Right.
All right, and but the two, Debbie and Diana, both decided that there was one really excellent candidate, but he couldn't do it till sometime in May. He's so busy with other committees and all that. And the second one that was chosen was Raleigh coming through there.
This is going to be a great asset to that board.
I just have to do one thing also, just to keep things straight. I've gotten 13 emails. The board has gotten it also.
And if you notice, they all say this exact same thing.
Yeah, but I
What
just
is
wanted,
that?
I just wanted to put in the minutes here, because be very respectful, they should be identified.
And transparent.
And be transparent. So the following people sent me an email opposing sent the board, but this came to me, sent the board and to me, emails opposing Raleigh Green's appointment. Yeah, now I want to mention their names. Peter McKnight from West Hurley, Natanya Rosenfeld from Glenford, Jolie Barrett from West Hurley, Lisa Phillips from West Hurley, Ellen Kramer from West Hurley, Ronnie Shapiro from West Hurley, Neil Blackadaddle from Glenford, Annie Reed, West Hurley, Sahaba Wilson, West Hurley, Carolyn Chadwick from Somewhere on Earth, Mike Kelly from Old Hurley, Phyllis Bloom from West Hurley. These are the people that have notified the board in opposition to Raleigh Green. And their opposition lies basically out because he's in the development, which is,
I just wanted to say that.
no, I know, he's into smart development.
He's on smart development and very economic, very environmentally aware of mega project, whether it's gonna work or not.
Well, one of the complaints that these people have, and as was mentioned, many of these letters were the exact same letters.
Yeah.
Just passing around. But one of the complaints they have is not also strong. And so we researched those also strong.
I have it for you.
All right. And
How's that?
go to who we are. Now go to who we
Who
are.
we are. Okay.
All right. And go, okay. So this is the people, and also strong, who they are. I recognize one of them, Dan A. House, who happens to be a student of mine back in Ontario, who also was the right-hand man of Maurice Finch.
Could not have been more environmentally and
Right. And so,
democratic in everything he did.
right. What I don't see here on the board here is Raleigh's name. Yeah, I don't,
He was on the board or
Right, but
something.
obviously.
All right, but now he's not
know
there
that
now.
unless somebody's
all right, so if you go down a little bit, go down further. All right, these are the corporations that are on the board. And I just want to say something.
No, could you go back down for 1 minute?
Up to there, sure.
No, to the economic, what's,
Economic Development Corporation.
that's about economic development.
Right, okay, and if you go down further here, these are the board members on here. Elliot Auerbach was, Ulster County Controller. He is now the assistant or the deputy controller for New York State. He's the person I'm calling about our AFR. We have Norman Stafford. We utilize them.
That's Tony Marmo's group.
Right, I'm just saying, but we utilize them. We utilize them as any kind of temp workers we need here. All right, keep going. R-Stop Fiber is bringing in fiber optics into Old Hurley. So all you guys who have poor cell service, it's gonna get better.
Oh, thank God.
Or they tell you that. And I'll tell you that something else that was interesting. With R-Stop Fiber, your bills from Spectrum. You're not gonna have them. You can have them, which would be much cheaper. Hopefully, come to it. So we use them. Keep going a little bit. All right, Herzog's is one of our supply locals that we utilize. Well, I just want to show that we know a lot of complaints about Raleigh is about Ulster Strong. If you go further, go down a little more.
Sure.
Keep on. All the way down to the very end.
Okay.
Keep going. Right here. All right. This is what they also strong is saying. And the thing is, though, what I don't understand is that the planning board does not go by opinions. It has to go by facts. It has to go by facts. In other words,
They make decisions based on town law.
right, on town law.
So development projects that come forward, the decisions that they make are based on town law. So
Right.
if there's something that people don't like, that's occurring, we need to change our town
No,
law.
go back.
But that's
Go down, go
based
down.
on town law.
Go down to the next picture.
There's
All right.
no opinions.
All right, so here, this is people that support Ulster Strong. Chuck Schumer, Ward Todd on the left-hand side. I don't know the
And
name.
Ryan?
That's Pat Ryan there.
You know Jim
Jim
Quigley.
Quigley. These are the people that support Ulster Strong coming through. And again, if you read what they do,
Smart growth and projects, and that's what this is about.
So,
I think he's gonna be a great asset to the planning board.
Who made the motion? Did somebody make the
Diana
motion?
made the,
Who
I
seconded it?
seconded it. Oh,
Who made the motion?
I'll make the motion, and I'll second.
Okay.
any discussion?
Yeah, we need to have a discussion. So one of the things that I found really interesting about the responses, the two things I want to bring up. One is that the responses primarily come from West Hurley. I would love to hear what Old Hurley folk think about this appointment. So this is a weighted,
Old Hurley had two voices against who? Me and Abe Citron.
So you have three?
and
Another resident whose name is Abe Citron.
I don't have it here.
that's,
I have my.
That's the one that Maggie said.
all right,
They
so.
have to say where that person.
So I'd love to hear more about what old Hurley people think. The other thing that I'd like to bring up is that as Mike pointed out, several people, 5 people were interviewed.
Yes.
So I'd like to hear the recommendation from the committee who interviewed these 5 individuals and what their recommendation is in relationship to an alternate 2 for this position, for this board position.
So it was Deb and I, who are Old Hurley residents, and out of the 5, we both agreed that Raleigh was because the person that we would have liked as well, he couldn't do it until later on in the year. So that took him off the list then. So then he went with Raleigh.
So I'm trying to understand why there's such a dissent.
Well, because if you look who, they all copied each other from West Hurley, so they're all neighbors, and
No, but that's not answering the question, why there was a dissent.
well,
Yes, please.
Raleigh Green has written many opinions and does a lot of the writing for Ulster Strong. And he also worked for several of the corporations that had some of the most egregious issues with the environment, which included the cement factory around 28. I've never seen him express opinion that had any concern with the environment, even though he interviewed that he did. So all of his public opinions have always been very pro-development and didn't seem to have much regard for why the community would want it.
So I have another question. So he's a second alternate, which means that he doesn't have a primary vote
Well, one never knows.
unless somebody's off.
Somebody's off, I mean.
2 people are off. 2 people need to be off,
there were 7 board members.
and there's 7 more.
That's
So I'm trying to.
One board out of 7.
So if he was being appointed as a major board member,
Well, he'll be in line for that as an alternate.
Perhaps.
well, I mean, how long does this position alternate? 2 years.
2 years.
Right, so in 2 years, he could be removed, or he would be
Not reappointed.
ineligible.
He could be reappointed.
He could be reappointed.
He could move up to the board. I mean, a lot of things can happen. But that's the reason that the people have written in to complain is that he has 100% backed every corporate development in the general vicinity since we come to know him. And he's done great things at Hurley, the Hurley Heritage Society, but all his opinions have been pro-developer.
Yeah, but I don't have a problem with co-development. I'm trying to understand what the problem is.
All of his opinions have been totally pro-developer, and he has worked for those people and pushed that development regardless of any community feedback. That's all. So people feel that he
I
would not represent them.
He's been here, like, public comment, and the 3 issues we had in our town all went to court and we lost. So he has been in that audience to say, no, you didn't say that, we lost. And he has been in that audience to say, it's all about smart development. Doesn't mean that we're against all development, doesn't mean that we're in favor of all development.
Well, should be here to discuss as well.
Right, so anyway,
The
yeah.
appointed has the ability. to
Well,
hear.
I'm a little concerned, we've never done this for an appointment, we've never
Had a
We've
discussion.
never brought, this kind of an issue in, and,
Well, but
I'm a little concerned.
I don't know if we've ever had so many petitions sent to the board.
We have.
saying
Well,
no.
I think it's very odd that they all had the same wording, there's no way they all know him.
It doesn't matter really what they say. I mean, the fact of the matter is that several people are sending board members their concerns, and so the board has to take this into consideration and to make a decision. We don't have a.
I've known that, Raleigh for years, and like I said, and that Ulster Strong, Dan Aho was Maurice Finch's right-hand guy. you're not gonna find anybody more environmentally concerned or more democratic than that gentleman. And he's very strong and ultra strong. So just saying that Raleigh's tight and ultra strong does not make him a bad choice for the planning board.
Well, I agree with that. I'm trying to understand again.
All right, I have to chime in on this also. We have on the planning board people that we've interviewed before. The answer is no. All right, when they applied for positions, they were appointed, very rarely were they even interviewed by the town board. We had a special thing here. We had 5 people apply for it, which I think is outrageous. And out of the 5 people that applied for it, this is the person that you guys recommended. And I think that's sufficient. Now, here's the thing. This complaint that he is pro-development. We've had on the planning board people who are pro-environment, totally no development whatsoever. And that, they were never questioned, hold on, and never questioned about that. There was nothing wrong with being a pro-development, pro-environment, being on the board, because the thing is, they must follow the law. And that's it. They must follow the law. You cannot put in your viewpoint into the law. If, all the planning board does is make sure that you dot your I's, you cross your T's, you follow the law, the code, and that's it. And that doesn't mean that people who are pro-development or pro-environment, it means the fact is you just got to follow the law. There were times we went to court because we were sued because we didn't follow the law. And I remember Judge Bryant on one case, he yelled at Town of Hurley saying, "Why are you guys violating the law? Making up your own laws coming my way."
Our own law.
Our own laws here. And then, and the goal was that we appealed his decision to another judge, Judge Mott, who then even yelled stronger how wrong we were for violating the law.
Well, I don't know how that ties in directly.
No, what I'm saying is that the thing is though that being on the planning board, you have to follow the law. And that's all that we ask of all the planning board members. Just follow the law on the drill there. And again, he is one of 9.
Right. So I don't have any other comments.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
So we have 4 and 1 opposed. Where's the Joe?
Okay.
6.
Place. Yes, this is a refund of a goodwill payment to Joe. This came from Maggie Coleman. I told her Tracy, make sure this is legit, and she said it is. What it is basically is that they were paid twice. Once I believe once they paid to the planning board, the other one was paid to Bernier Larios. All right.
For the same
For the same service.
Yeah.
Okay, so the thing is, what the planning board is asking us is to refund the money that the Bernier Larios got, because that was put into the general fund of about 8 funds. So this will come out of the general fund as opposed to an escrow account. You're looking at me like funny, you're going.
Yep, I know this is gonna happen continuously.
Well, we open this up, so.
Okay. All right, so
Resolution states what line is coming out of.
it's gonna come out of probably 80, not 80, 90. I will tell you in a second. It might come out of the engineers. account
Well, it
because-
says the fee was deposited to municipal code 8020.4 as revenue. At the very top, first whereas.
Yeah, previously.
This is what it comes, this will come out of 80/20. 80/20 is the planning board, 80/20.4, which is contractual. There's $15,000 in there, and this one. Mind you, just let everybody know, that $500 first was put in as revenue.
Yes.
All right, so in other words, there's no loss of money from us. That's all it is. We just refunded, money was given to us.
Did we make the motion or? I'll make the motion to thank you.
All right, I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, the next one here is Nelson Pope and Voorhees. Coming through here. This is the planner. This is our planner that we use at the town, at the planning board, obviously, and also we use that as a. And what we used to do last year, we used to give them, I think, $1,200 stipend monthly, but we never really used them. It's $1,000 monthly. We very rarely used that. And in fact, with what it was, they suggested us going a la carte. And that's what we'd like to do here. It's gonna be much cheaper. If we find out that we use them more, then we'll switch back to the stipend, more or less. They will allow us to do that. They would like to decide that if we come to that. So my suggestion, my motion is to, I make a motion to pass this resolution.
Debbie, what was the old resolution number that you pulled up from?
That's a different one. I
Okay.
don't know what this is.
Never mind.
No, sorry.
That's okay.
So you make a motion?
To accept this resolution?
I'll second it.
Okay.
All right, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so be it.
Oh, I know which one it was.
All right, resolution to provide committee volunteers with transfer station permits.
Oh, we did this meeting.
No, it's an amendment to it.
So this is the one
It's
that has
this
the resolution 0030.
030,
Yeah.
thank you.
So basically, we passed a resolution earlier in 2024 to give active volunteers a board and committee transportation pass for the next year. What we didn't do soon enough was to announce that, so some of them actually went out and bought a pass. So now we're just gonna rectify that by saying that we're gonna, if they don't have a pass, we're gonna give them a pass. If they did do a pass, we're gonna give them $20 in coupons to the transfer station. So it's just to rectify that kind of oversight when we first did this, trying to do a good thing. We didn't think it all the way through. So we're just trying to rectify that. So I'd like a motion to.
We're gonna do that next. We'll do that in the discussion.
I'd like the motion to go ahead and if someone has already purchased one, we'll give them $20. And
I'll second.
Okay, discussion.
thank you.
You got it? Okay, discussion, library volunteers. Volunteers.
We're all volunteers on the library boards.
The boards are.
But that's a separate, but they're a separate entity, right? It's a separate tax line. Right, that's, you know, I would just say, no, otherwise you're not, then you gotta go to the fire department.
Yeah.
That's my next option.
I would say no.
No, this is
Well,
for
it
people
wasn't
that are
part of
volunteering their time for the.
resolution, but it's something you guys can consider and maybe
Right,
discuss
in
that another time,
future.
that you guys should look through.
And we don't have any control over those library volunteers. We do have control over these volunteers for the tax. Well, actually, it's, and they're not volunteers, they get voted in,
Okay,
but they're not paid, that's all.
would you do me a
But
favor,
they are
Joe?
elected.
Since you are the liaison to the library, talk to them, see what we can do. Anything that we can help with that.
Yeah.
Okay.
They don't have the meeting in February, so.
Okay, so did we, any more discussion? All in favor? Aye. All right, what's next? Oh, we did that.
You did that.
We moved that one up. So next is the resolution. Oh, this is fine. So, another thing that the safety committee and Betsy specifically has been working on is we started conversation with Woodstock. And so in that thought process of trying to do complete streets and make sure that we have pathways for vehicles, bikers and pedestrians, they actually did a joint application with Woodstock for a study to find an alternative route along 375 for bicycles and pedestrians. So somehow you can't walk and bike on 375.
You get killed if you try to go shopping.
Exactly. So this is to seek a grant to get funding for a study to figure out, is there some way we can build a pathway through our communities from the Woodstock Green to the Ashokan Rail Trail. So it's basically for a grant. I'll do that stuff. I'll second.
Who's the grant? Granting it is.
That's it.
Would it be?
It's, oh, yeah.
The Ulster County Transportation Council has.
I'll make sure it's not federal.
And the link would not come from Hurley. It would just be money they have in their budget that they would award to this project. And do.
Got it. Thank you.
And, so I motion. That's
Second.
it. Any more discussion, any questions? No. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, well,
So the resolution with the budget, transfer place, is this the kiosk on the Hurley Rail Trail? Matt, you want to talk about that a little bit? You know about
Well,
this?
it's really not, this is coming from this.
This is from
This is
Vince.
from Vince.
Right. It's not the grant.
I know. All right. What this basically is that we were applying for a grant from Greenway.
Right.
For 3 kiosks that would cost $6,900.
Right.
Where Greenway would pay half, we would pay half, $34.50.
That's in process right now. I
Right.
don't know if you've.
Well, we got that grant. We got that grant. Before we got that grant, there was a suggestion made by Vince and his dad, who actually, they built the kiosks that are there right now, to refurbish it. And at that time, we didn't know if the grant was coming through. We all refurbish it. He came in with a bill for, what was it? $1,851 to rebuild it, more or less.
and they're gonna do all the work.
And they would do all the work. And I,
Just
That was material
This is
material
just
costs,
materials.
no labor costs at all. And so instead of having 3 kiosks now, we have 6.
Which Heather has put forward a couple of recommendations.
Heather Hart?
Where those might want to go.
Okay.
Okay.
So, but I'm looking at your resolution, it's to replace. Is
Oops.
this should be to refurbish? If this is coming from Vince,
This is renovating 2.
or to renovate?
2 of the existing kiosks.
So it looks like the text is right. This looks like the
Second
type.
one, second
Yeah.
one. Yeah, this is renovate 2 of the existing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
not
so the second
replace.
whereas shouldn't be in there. Right?
In the title of this matter,
In the title,
the
the
resolution
resolution
title.
title.
It says to replace, maybe, yeah,
That
or
should
the
be,
title, to refurbish or rehab.
I'll change that.
In the title. To rehab,
Renovate?
okay,
Rehab?
rehab,
I don't know why this is in there, but I
yeah,
guess-
then the second one, second whereas,
Just get rid of that second whereas.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just that first whereas.
A second whereas.
The second.
We'll receive your, grant.
Yeah, the grant, I know. it's wrong.
That's a
oh,
separate thing.
and so by the way, to let you know that those 3 kiosks are being built by Timber, kiosk in Vermont. They are shipping it down here, we should get it in early March,
Wow, that's fast.
right in time for the snowman.
So we're gonna,
Right, so
we're gonna strike the second
has Vermont
whereas.
sent you an
Strike the
invoice?
second
or-
whereas
or
and
you-
your other
We
two.
got the invoice.
Oh, okay.
We got the, I gotta tell you something, because we were late in the invoice, and Tony Bonavich was working on it.
Yeah.
And because we were late on the invoice and for passing this, they raised the price. They raised it
Tony
to
said that
$71.
he really worked hard to try and.
Well, what we did is we called them up and say, you taking 6,900 or you taking nothing? And they lowered the price back down to 69. Tony Bonavich worked on that.
Oh,
Get that
okay.
down.
Because I'm.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, so,
Moving right along.
And I want to thank Ralph also, because you worked very hard with Tuffy.
Well, I actually made, it's funny, as I was working on the grant and thinking about what Vince had said, I actually made a phone call to Vince and asked him, are you still interested? Not knowing, that I hadn't heard anything, and it all of a sudden comes a letter to you and the thought, and I'm like, well, okay, I guess he is, but the grant was already well in progress by that time.
All right, make a motion.
make a motion as
Yes, so it's
revised.
Make a motion to
as amended.
As amended,
And we're moving a second.
Right,
Yep.
refurbished and move the second whereas.
Yep.
yes.
Okay, a second.
Okay, discussion? In favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
I'd just like to add, Friday, I'm meeting with, Evan Fasano. He's also gonna be doing the Eagle Scout project, so I'm going to incorporate this.
Good.
So we'll have,
That's where we got the Eagle project from you. That's right, okay. Thank you, John, yes.
so I'll be meeting with them, so the funds are here, No, I think he has to do it on his own. I read the whole, I know there's a process to discuss, but anyway,
But they know.
we're meeting Friday at 1:30 in your office. I CC you.
Okay. Hey, I gotta say, I hadn't, that's my email because I'm busy with the reach, but I didn't have time to go through it, so I think I'll go through
Then
it.
block
All right.
my phone.
You got it. Hey, do what that is, throw me out. Resolution to authorize supervisor to sign EV agreement with Ulster County. All right, we've done this before, but the wording is wrong. And we had to reword this, to get this. This is a grant for $10,900. Our share of it is like $5,400 and so forth. This is for an EV charger.
Do you need the exact numbers? Yeah, because they still aren't exact.
10,000 is, I think it's exact.
Chips from me.
Yeah, I think it's exact. All right, and
No, it's 900, 5,500, that's.
11,000. Yes, make that 11,000. All right, on the fourth whereas.
11,000.
Yeah, 11,000.
5,500 and 5,500.
Basketball.
Okay.
All right.
And the thing is, what's the beauty of this whole thing is that, the money that, Christie Showers, Climate Smart Community, Climate Smart Task Force, I should say, right? Secured $25,000 in loans. So the 5,500 that town has to pay is gonna come from that.
Nice.
All right, so I want to thank Kristen. I want to thank you, Lynn, also. Thank you so much.
I have one more correction. Second to last word.
Chagrinning, what's wrong with that?
Grinning station. I will fix,
It's tough that you be chagrinning.
I will fix that online.
Thank you.
We need amendment to, I'm
So
chagrinning.
as amended.
As untyped.
Okay, all right, motion to accept the amended version. Second. All in favor?
Aye.
We already received that charge decision.
We have, it's right back here.
It is.
We have it.
Awesome. Who's putting it up? Who's installing it?
Plug in.
Plug TV.
Plug in.
Plug in.
Plug in is going to do it. We are just waiting, we're just waiting for the contract from the, county. Therefore,
I forgot this.
all right, let's talk about that too. All right, a couple things other we have there too. We have a late resolution, okay? Real quick. The first one here is resolution authorizing the supervisor to sign a contract with RBT, CPAs, I don't think, I want to hold off on this thing here. And the reason being is because this is an hourly contract. I would like to talk to them about maybe a stipend because, this could be very expensive.
You can get a contract with Phil.
Is that?
You can get a contract with.
Yes, yeah. So I won't, but it doesn't say here about a stipend. So I'd like to hold off on this thing and deal with them. I spoke to Wendy about this. So we'll talk about putting in a stipend. And that's right. So we'll just table this one. The next one here is a resolution for a public hearing for proposed local law number 1, 2025 to provide tax exemption for
I
bonds.
have to recuse.
Don't
myself.
have to.
Why?
Because we're not doing it.
Oh, okay. Why are we not doing it?
This, because I want you to get to read the local law. I want to do it.
Oh, okay, so this will be for next time?
This is for next time.
Okay, well, I
All right, more homework. All right, you gotta read this, coming through, and then on February 11th, we'll schedule a public hearing on this thing here.
You got the roof on also?
Yes, and then we have also the roof. All right, resolution to award J&A Roofing RFP for 44 Main Street. We had 2, bids come in. J&A's bid came in for $14,500. ZFJ proposal came in for, hold on a second, I got it somewhere there, 20,500. So, Superman says, choose the cheaper one. So we are going to, and I had, Paul Connell, look at both of them.
This is the old library?
This is the Hurley Heritage.
Instead of metal roof, it's gonna be the shingle roof.
It's gonna be
Right, so
shingle
this
roof.
is gonna be the shingle roof versus the metal roof.
Right,
Okay.
and by the way, with the shingle roof, we don't need to get an approval from the Hurley, Historical Society because we just, what are we doing?
They approved it, they approved the specific color of the shingle. Weathered wood is the name of it.
So that was the recommendation.
Yes, and that's what was in the RFP, that's what was bid, specific, it was in the language. Okay.
Yeah, I believe it's comparable. It's basically the same that's currently on.
Before you adjourn the meeting, is there still room for a?
We're gonna do a public.
Yes.
He's waiting a long time.
No, that's fine. I just wanted to make sure there was still time.
Oh, there
That's
is.
all.
I tell you what. That's it.
Yeah, you didn't vote on this.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, second,
I'll second.
okay, discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, Paul, you do notify JD?
No, that's a legislative act. It's
Okay.
not a building department action.
Okay, I will notify them. Yeah. All right, last thing,
So I have one
Don't
more.
have a committee, for the library?
we have a what?
Oh, there's no more
No,
committee.
Oh, there is a committee.
No, there's not a committee. That was what, Tim chair.
Tim liaison. He's in charge.
Yeah, there was still a.
There's still a committee there. Still a
They,
committee there.
they should be the ones calling today next. No?
No, we're going to decide it, we're going to pick the, I'll call him tomorrow.
With someone's contract.
Yeah.
So one more thing, so I know as we were working on the ambulance service and the tax district and everything last year, I know we mentioned in, Ken specifically mentioned in several of them that, believe it or not, EMS was not considered an essential service in New York State. There was legislation has been out there waiting on them to pass it. They have passed it.
Thank God.
Like, pretty amazing, right? But it basically says general ambulance services deemed an essential service that must be provided by every county, city, town, and village.
Wow.
So EMS is now officially an essential service in New York State.
And what we have to do with that thing is we gotta go to Jen Metzger and say, let's go.
That's right.
Let's go.
Right. County needs to step
Step
up
up.
and.
Especially since they have a surplus of $44 million.
There you go.
You know, that could fund the entire county EMS service.
And provide ALS service,
Yeah.
right? So we provide BLS service. That's, we're looking for ALS help.
Right, so this is something that we are we are gonna pressure, the county. You guys have to do the same thing too.
Yes.
All
We
right,
hold our voices.
you need to be heard, and you guys especially need to be done also, get this thing going. This is urgent, this is critical care. We're on life support right now.
Okay.
Okay,
That's it.
any other, you guys wanna say something? We haven't heard much from you guys back down there.
Senior students tomorrow.
Oh,
Senior-
yes, oh, see you tomorrow, West Shirley.
I gather
No.
you're booked. We are booked.
Yeah.
We had over 40 people registered.
Nice.
I gotta tell you, John, I got a phone call, from a person that was really upset. They couldn't get the suit, was that, it was over.
They have one noodle.
They had one.
All right, yes, okay, I make a motion, open up public comment number 2.
I'll second that.
All right, Wider?
You need to say
Just say, you need to
Oh,
say, all in favor,
All-
aye.
Aye. What did you say?
Yeah.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Yeah,
Yeah.
just bend the mic down,
Thank you for
stand
being
close to
patient.
it.
Hello,
Aye.
I'm Ryder Moody. I wanted to make a comment.
Right on the, your address.
My address is 291 Eagles Nest Road. My wife and I bought property in Hurley last year in February, and have gone through the planning board process to build a yurt on our property. And I wanted to make a few comments about the process. So overall, we started the process in May of last year, paid our escrow deposit and our application fee, and then spent about many months in the process. Finally got approved in November after a rather combative process overall. I received a vote to approve with a number of additional requirements for our
yurt?
For the yurt. So yeah, the yurt is a 27-foot diameter round structure, very small. It is on a permanent foundation, which is why we had to go through the whole process. It was just like a new build from their point of view. So we were approved in November with a number of additional requirements that add a lot of cost and burden to the process of building it. And then after about 2 months of not hearing anything, about a week ago, we heard that we'd owe an additional $4,000 in fees for the year process on top of the $500 escrow deposit. Immediately later that day, I heard there was a mistake in the bill and that it was unclear what the bill would actually be. Yesterday, I just found out the final bill was an additional $2,800 over that $500 fee. The first fee on the bill was dated in July of 2024, but I didn't hear about it. I had no idea any of these fees were accruing. Yeah, I overall don't understand why there were such significant fees for the year application. At the beginning of the process, I was told that I would find out about any additional fees and that generally the $500 escrow is basically covers most of it. I definitely understand there might be additional fees. I have no idea if these fees are actually legitimate or reasonable. I have a bunch of documents about the fees, but they don't say anything about what's actually happening. So yeah, overall, it seems like a lot of people are going through a similar situation. It seems very unfair to drop these fees very late in the process on people, and it's again unclear if these fees are actually legitimate or not. So overall, I support the town board overturning any of these fees that were not given with a reasonable time frame.
Public
hearing.
process.
Yeah, so we have to actually have a resolution to have a public hearing,
And then
which we will have.
Well, I think he needs to first make a request saying that he's not going to be paying those fees and that he is, yeah.
Okay. Did you say that, right?
Yeah, so
You formally submit a request.
I formally submit a request to not pay these fees. I would love to move forward with our builds, and so I hope this doesn't delay the process. But yeah, I'm happy to submit any documentation necessary.
It would make sense. Talk with the supervisor afterwards and we can kind of give you, definitely want something submitted in writing that they can refer to, outlining how much is actually owed and basically the documentation that
That you were given.
Then I'll refer you to him.
So Matt, is it possible, since we have multiple entities, to provide one public hearing for all the
we'll
entities
schedule them
individually?
Well, each application and each set of,
Open and close.
invoices have to be reviewed together with scheduling back to that so that town board can stay on the same page. It's the same law that applies. You just have to look at different factors.
So Ryder, would you I'll be in tomorrow around 10 o'clock or so. Can you, are you available around that time? Well, put it this way, you can always bring it to my secretary.
Okay.
Bring all the
documentation.
and also
Right
say, right, any request they forward here. And then we'll put a resolution for the next board meeting. To have it done then.
May I just say something that's relevant to Ryder's case?
Just do me a favor.
It's public.
Just come to my mic. It's easy. Thank you, Ryder.
Hi, everybody. I had not planned to speak, but I feel compelled to say a few words that I was in this room when Ryder was being questioned by. Yes, Betsy Blair, 659 Hurley Ave in Hurley. Thank you. And I observed over the course of a few meetings that he was being queried to a degree that I hadn't seen other applicants being questioned about things like material of the dome, color and brand of the paint, and that part for his yurt.
It was a visual assessment.
Yes. But I just want to, I don't know what the oversight is of the planning board or what governs their degree of the depth in which they assess these things, but that it appeared to me that there were one or two people really going excessively into issues that didn't seem to pertain to the town guidelines. And really, in my mind, it almost comprised harassment. So to the extent that the board is able to
qualify and guide the planning board in those matters. I think it has bearing on their efficiency, the cost to applicants in the town, and the overall experience that residents have. So I think
All right,
Yeah, I just wanted to briefly. I have something. Oh.
I know this.
Oh, it's not for you. Oh, okay.
That's crazy.
My name is Susan DeWitt Glickman. I live at 103 Key Street in Hurley. And I received a letter regarding the house that's on Old 209. And I got it right at 7, but it seems like it got tabled really quickly. So I just needed clarification. If I understand it, and I'm making an assumption here, but if I understand it correctly, the taxes haven't been paid and it's coming up.
No,
Taxes haven't paid. They haven't paid. Okay. Has anybody done an assessment of the house to see if it's
Yeah,
okay to live in?
so that's the whole issue. That's the town board is declaring, it's been declared unsafe
Okay.
by the building department.
Okay,
And the town board is going to make that determination so that they can then, if the homeowner does not take care of the unsafe condition, the town board is then authorized, once they've made that declaration, that finding, to then basically take care of that dangerous condition themselves and then assess the cost of the town has paid on that property.
okay. Has anyone considered like turning it over to maybe Habitat for Humanity or something like
Well,
that?
the town is not going to be owning the property.
Right,
All we can do is, since there's a dangerous condition, once they've made a determination, then legally, we can basically take action to take care of that, remove the dangerous condition, and then basically require payment from that. You know,
okay,
so hopefully it's something where, I know there was talk, other people who came here for that hearing were out talking with,
yes, that was the second thing
Okay.
I was gonna ask is, meeting out in Warwick.
so that had nothing to do with the town, but the neighbors were talking with a representative for the homeowner.
Okay,
And hopefully there can be some way in which that dangerous condition can be resolved absent the town having to take
all right,
action.
because I know the first woman that I used to meet up with was an elderly woman who lived there, the grandmother. And then there was a daughter that lived there with her grandson. And that's all I ever knew that lived there. So, they didn't seem to have a lot of resources. So that's one of the things I was concerned about. So, okay, well, that's basically what I wanted to clarify because I just wasn't sure how the whole thing had come about. It's sad that it was allowed to deteriorate. It was a beautiful craftsman home. And, it seems like it's really going downhill.
But except you can't be renovated.
I really hope. It would be lovely if it could be.
Put it this way, it's prime property. for one thing.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I would hate to see it just sit there until it collapses. So, okay, thank you. I appreciate everybody looking into it.
Andy?
Wendy Trojak, 37 Arnold Drive, Woodstock, New York. This is not the format that I wanted to bring this to the attention to the board, but I have sent various emails and I have asked for help and it's not being addressed. So I'm here to protect the integrity of the financial records of the town. It has been brought to my knowledge that various people have keys to where the records are kept right now, which is the little closet that I'm in the clerk's office. I have caught people going through the invoices. I have had employees ask me questions about the invoices. And to be frank, I'm tired of it. I want something done. I know there's no room in the town hall and I know that we're all in different positions, but I am one of the very rare, there's only 3 or 4 of us full-time employees. And based on the situation of the financial records and the fact that we can't find some of those records, I think it is imperative that the office where the records are stored is locked and that no one else has access to it.
Well, I'm a little confused here. I mean, this is the first time I'm hearing.
I brought it to Supervisor Baum's attention that I have seen people going through the through what is on my desk. I've had people stand over me and ask me questions over the invoices that are on my desk. Why is there a late charge? Why is there a previous balance? That's no one's business. That is my position.
So do you have the keys? What did you say about?
So the the closet is located in the clerk's office.
Yeah.
The safe for the clerk's office is in that office. And they also have a utility closet, which has their supplies in it. So they have to have the ability to come in and out. There are other people within the building that have keys. For instance, Irma has keys and she has gone in my office when I'm not there. Now I work sometimes 7 o'clock in the morning. Sometimes I'm here on weekends. I come in, there's papers that have been moved. There's things that have been touched. This is the financial information. There are bank statements. There are account numbers. This is very important. And the suggestion that was made by Mr. Bones was to put everything on a rolling part and roll it into his office when I leave. That's ridiculous. That's not going to work. Another suggestion that has been brought to me is to work different hours.
No, with that,
I've asked to have the safe and the utility closet moved out of that office so that I'm the only one that has keys to get in there. I've been told that the safe can't move. We have a highway department. We have a maintenance man. There's got to be a way to get that safe out of there. I mean,
Thank you.
again, this is not the approach that I wanted to take, but how can I keep the integrity of my job? How can I know that things are getting done correctly and that records aren't missing and that files aren't being taken without having an office that's locked? I mean, the building department has a locked office. The assessor has a locked office. No one goes in the supervisor's office when no one's here. We had an issue the other day where we couldn't even get on to the computers because the computers went down. We couldn't get into the supervisor's office to reset the computers.
Wendy, I don't even know if you need to go any further. This
But
is such
it's not being taken care of.
Well, I think now that you've brought it up, because this is the first time I'm hearing it. I don't think you've heard about this. Have you heard about this?
I've mentioned it.
So we will definitely address this. This is too significant
And that's what
not to deal with.
that's what I'm afraid of, honestly,
Definitely.
is
Definitely.
that something's gonna
All that
happen.
hard work that you did.
Yeah, I mean, it's ridiculous.
I live
So,
here. And I don't want, all of my hard work to be misconstrued. I don't want someone to read something that's not complete. It's really important that they're safe.
We changed the lock on the door. How many keys or, who should have access?
Nobody.
Nobody but me, in my opinion.
Well, the problem is safe is in your head.
Understand that, but it's 2025. There has to be a way to get that safe out of
What's
there.
in that safe that somebody needs to go in there?
That's where all of the important documents for the town clerk are kept, and they have to be locked up. Now, when I came to you and asked you, you told me the safe had to be behind closed doors. The clerk's office is a closed door. So why can't it be rolled out into the clerk's office?
The only problem is where you want to put it there. It's blocking the thermostat and it's blocking the vent.
I don't care where it goes.
Why don't you guys work on this and figure this out within the next 24 hours?
Yeah.
But I don't think it's, this is definitely public comment brought to the board.
Yes, I mean, I'm coming to you as a taxpayer as well. No one should have access to those financial records until they need to have access to them. Thank you.
Thanks, Bree. Thanks, Larry.
My name is Doc Crowd, Huntsville, 152 to Whitmills Road. What can we do to make that road safer? It's under 3 jurisdictions, town of Ulster, town of Hurley, and Rosendale. I have witnessed school buses going 55 miles an hour. I almost got hit several times shoveling my driveway up and getting my mail. How do we get the speed reduced on that road?
Which part of it is Hurley, where you live?
Yeah, she's at the very beginning.
Let me ask you a question. Is
So
that a town road or is it?
That's a
county
County road.
That's all right, because we were told by Brendan Masterson that we have a resolution, it's already at the state to lower the speed limit to 25 on town roads. And if the county road runs through the town, that speed limit will be applicable. The issue is we can lower the speed limit, but unless we can get some enforcement, that's,
I've called
That's-
years ago. My
Yeah.
family's been there since 1921, and we've had the same issue over and over and over.
that's the challenge, is the enforcement, because we don't have a local.
I'm offered my driveway. Couple neighbors have offered my driveway for enforcement, and they say it's too dangerous to pull anybody over on that road. I've talked to Rosendale, I've talked to the town of Ulster, and years ago, I talked to the town of Hurley.
What's your name again?
My name is Baltroud, Waltraud. Last name Winterfeld, Winterfeld.
All right, you want to share back with your dad and how he's doing?
My father was seriously burned on November 5th.
Veterans Day.
He's
On
the
election
one
day.
with the shed.
Yes.
It wasn't a shed, it was a riding lawnmower
Oh,
that caught fire, and because of the drought,
Yep.
he stayed on it to get into a clearing. He's been in and out of, the burn center. He spent over 2 months there. And that's another thing, because the ambulance, I believe, you guys maybe, I've been asking for
what?
fire chief for a report on that. They won't give it to me. Apparently, there was a problem getting him out of there because of the busy road.
Okay. Oh, Leonard is still.
No, he's in rehab. And, he went to the hospital for a week because they didn't change his bandages for 4 days. So now he's got sepsis.
Hope he improves.
So, but the road is a big issue. It always has been.
there's a lot of roads.
And you can't walk on it.
Yep, that's right.
There's no way to walk. Like I said, I almost caused a head-on collision getting my mail because they swerving out of the road, and
There's too many turns and hills on that road.
exactly, and everybody, yeah, big semi.
She's got a Hurley Place, like the other side of the road, so right?
That's why
She's got the Hurley
it's
Place,
yours.
the other side of the
Yeah.
road is open.
All right, okay. All right, thank you.
Anthony.
We'll deal with this thing.
Yeah,
All right, anybody else want to speak? All right, I make a motion to, close public comment number 2.
Second.
All right, session, all in favor?
Aye.
So be it. I make a motion, well, any business that you guys have talked about. I make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Any discussion? George?